people make it, they all can turn around and thank Beyoncé, because that's
I have been falsely imprisoned through the misuse of the Baker Act, the Marchman Act, and a petition for a guardianship.
And enough is enough. I'm fucking coming for everyone now.
What if the biggest stars in music weren't just icons, but builders of something far darker than anyone ever imagined? We see it all the time. Industry shout-outs to the biggest names, power couples praised on every magazine cover. But deep down, haven't you ever wondered what it really costs to rise to the top of an industry built on silence and sacrifice? Tonight, we're not just spilling tea. We're opening a vault of stories the industry hoped you'd never connect. Stories like Mia being pressured to join strange initiation circles, a survivor describing how she was trapped and controlled, and a daughter revealing the twisted secrets hidden inside her own family's music empire. These aren't rumors whispered in dark rooms. These are voices on camera, court documents, investigations, and patterns that are getting too clear to ignore. You've probably felt it yourself. Why do so many bright young talents end up ruined, silent, or gone, while the same powerful figures grow richer every year? What if those screaming fans and sold-out arenas are really feeding a hidden system? A game of energy, influence, and manipulation so strong it can shape your mind without you realizing it. We're going far beyond scandal. We're connecting the dots the news avoids, the stories stars deny, and the evidence that keeps leaking out, bit by bit. The circle isn't just cracking tonight, it's being exposed. Stay with us. This might change the way you see the superstar world forever. Let's be honest. The entertainment world wants you distracted. They want you streaming, dancing, arguing online about who's the real queen, just so you never notice the patterns hiding in plain sight. But Mia noticed. And she's telling the truth as she lived it. Behind the sparkle, there's a price. Silence, loyalty, and sometimes, if you believe the bravest voices, ritual.
Jay-Z and I signed to Rock Nation. The first thing he told me to do is get plastic surgery. I'm not insecure because I would have got plastic surgery. People make it, they all can turn around and thank Beyoncé, because that's it. And enough is enough. I'm fucking coming for everyone now. And even Adele, because she's retired now, but her career would not exist if I hadn't made Jonathan Dickens into a manager. And bitch, when she gets an award, she thanks Beyonce. Oh, I didn't want to drip myself in blood and cover myself and swim in goop, in black goop, and fucking like wear devil horns to fucking sell a record. Fuck that. Or be a witch. Or be that, all of that. Fuck all of that.
She says it clearly. The power couple at the top aren't just business legends. They're the ones controlling secret, dark corners of the industry. Imagine them hosting private, invitation-only nights in luxury hotel suites, with A-list artists passing around strange symbols and jars of thick black liquid like party favors. The higher you climb, the stranger the demands become. Want more radio play? Want a bigger budget? Then you have to prove your loyalty through secret rituals. And the pressure isn't just emotional, it's built into the system. Rising stars aren't just talented. They're surrounded, watched, and tested. One young singer, let's call her Aaliyah, wasn't just on her way up. She was trapped in a web of powerful figures who all pretended not to see what the others were doing. According to Mia, the silence at the top isn't an accident. It's tradition. That long history of looking the other way is exactly why survivor stories sound so similar. Year after year, case after case.
Bet you want to know why Jay-Z and Beyonce's name keep popping up around the whole Diddy thing. Well, that's why I'm here. Now, first thing you gotta know is when somebody like Diddy gets taken down, things always start out as a rumor. Diddy has had rumors floating around for like decades. Well, Jay-Z had a problem. He right there in the corner, by the way. Jay-Z has had a few rumors himself, but more like speculation. People see Jay-Z in a picture of R. Kelly, they're like, I guess they both make music. Then Jay-Z with Harvey Weinstein. People are like, I guess they both do business. Then, of course, Jay-Z with Diddy. Now, hold on. Here's the thing. Jay-Z and Diddy go way back. Like back to the days when they were both coming up. So you could say they might just have a lot of respect for each other. But on the other hand, people are like, well, if you've known each other that long, Jay-Z, you must have known what Diddy was on. But Jay-Z has always had a history of keeping quiet, which brings us to Aaliyah. Now, I'm sure y'all remember R. Kelly dated Aaliyah when she literally needed her parents' permission slip to get married. Now, if I remember correctly, her parents got the permission slip and said, "Marry who?" And that's how this whole thing got exposed. Now, a lot of people in the industry actually knew about this relationship because they would work with R. Kelly. They would be in the studio with R. Kelly. Now, according to Dame Dash, who listened closely, was Jay-Z's first business partner and also dated Aaliyah when she was 21. He said this is how it went. He said he didn't want anything to do with R. Kelly because everyone knew what type of timing R. Kelly was on. He looks over at Jay-Z and Jay-Z's out here creating collab albums with R. Kelly. But then he saw why. For starters, everyone had a crush on Aaliyah. People were waiting down the clock until she turned 18. But Jay-Z decided to get a head start. Now, there's absolutely no proof that Jay-Z went after Aaliyah, but people were like, let me see another picture. But apparently Jay-Z wasn't successful and Dame Dash started dating her when she was 21. Now, what does this all have to do with Diddy? It's the secrets. It's the, like what happened to Diddy, making people wonder. Nas came out, well, he technically didn't come out and say this, but while he was having his legendary beef with Jay-Z, he's doing a radio interview and he's saying it's weird that Jay-Z be working with people that need a permission slip to marry somebody. Okay. But again, rumors, kind of like what was happening to Diddy. But then this lawyer comes out and says, boy, do I got some news for y'all. And here's where it starts to get wicked. Now, he's going after Diddy. Specifically, listen closely, anyone that Diddy might have done something to, or anyone who's watched Diddy do some of these things and stayed silent about it. Now, first of all, the lawyer's taking calls from anyone. So theoretically, anyone could just call trying to get some money saying Diddy did this to me, Diddy should pay me. But in the lawyer's defense, I'm sure he's looking for people with proof. Honestly, I don't know him. He could be trash. Anyway, what he said next is what got people interested. He said, and I got some names. He said some wild names. Some names that will blow your mind. He's selling this. He said, yo, y'all finna wild out when you hear these names. I'm not gonna say it now, but y'all finna wild out. So people were like, Now, in Beyonce's case, it's just because she's married to Jay-Z and she's been in the industry for like 20 years. People are like, you must have known something, but that's all people have.
Tragic endings in the industry are far from rare. Some parties start with promises of opportunity. You're the right type, you'll get in, and end with young artists feeling isolated, pressured, and uneasy, sensing that something is wrong. The shadows of the industry creep in quietly, and the culture of silence is everywhere. It's not just about signing contracts or NDAs. It's about knowing that if you speak out, you could become the next headline, or even worse, the next cautionary tale.
Diddy's sloppy. He was bound to get caught. Jay-Z, not sloppy. So he would be a tough one to catch. But on the other hand, the FBI is pretty good at their job. And remember that lawyer from earlier that's going against Diddy and is gathering all those names on his alleged accomplices? Well, he also said that he gave a lot of his information to the FBI. And if Jay-Z's name pops up, he's in trouble, because how the FBI works is they'll take that information and they'll put it in a little vault with all the other information they might have on Jay-Z. When it's enough to lock him up, that's when they'll come out.
Now, for the first time, the walls of the industry feel like they're shaking for more than just gossip. Investigators are digging into powerful figures, lawsuits are piling up, and that old feeling that no one at the top can be touched suddenly seems less believable. If you feel that itch in the back of your mind, like every scandal you've heard so far was just a preview for something bigger, you're not alone. This isn't a small-town rumor or a wild conspiracy. It's a story unfolding piece by piece, bigger than anyone expected. It's not just another tell-all moment. Feels like the start of a cultural reckoning. Who's next? How long has this hidden system been operating? And after everything we've seen over the years, can anyone honestly say they're shocked? It's one thing to whisper about a dark machine from the outside, but everything changes when someone strong enough to refuse the so-called rituals finally speaks up and explains how that machine turns on its own.
Their ambition is financial. Like, if you wanted to be the Black Bill Gates, as Beyoncé says, no one can get in the way of that. And even people from smaller communities and smaller plights, you know, like to them, yeah, where is Sri Lanka? Who are the Tamils? Who cares? You know, I think to them, being part of and building this narrative of the American you know, the wealthy black community is more important, and whoever has to be thrown under the bus for that was what was gonna happen. And I think Ben Brofman is also the first black Brofman, you know, and that's a really important point to understand. So
what do you mean by that?
Because his mom is black, you know, and so I think that was a movement that was happening. And yes, I had the template that was radical and is the edge that hip hop needed, you know. But I was also inspired by hip hop and brought it back to America in a different form and shape on a very real situation, because there was actually a revolution happening in my country at the time, you know. And by then, hip hop had already moved into finance, where they were talking about bling. And I brought back the old school version of hip hop, where you're, you know, in the category of what artists like Nas and, you know, people that were more political and conscious, what they were representing. So it reignited something else. But then it got repackaged by hip hop, you know, and I think it did influence a lot of Kanye's taste or Rihanna's taste and Beyonce's taste. And what happened with those four artists, like Jay-Z, Kanye, Beyonce, and Rihanna, my stuff did affect that, you know.
The truth is coming out piece by piece, and the shadows can't hide forever. The questions are bigger than ever, and the answers are closer than you think. Stay alert, pay attention, and don't let the distractions blind you. Watch, listen, and share, because this story isn't over, and you won't want to miss what comes next. The next chapter is unfolding now, and it's up to you to witness it.